I am telling you, Alice, it's like they can't even balance their own checkbooks.
Oh Bob, you're just oversimplifying human financial struggles again. They have complex economic systems.
Shush, shush. Let's keep it quiet and get ready for the show. Places, everyone.
And we are back, dear audience of the cosmos. Welcome to another exciting episode of Earth. I'm your ever-optimistic host, Charlie.
And I'm Alice, here to make sure we all remember that humans are adorably misguided.
And I am Bob, just hoping today's riddles don't involve calculating Earth's incomprehensible tax code.
Oh, Bob, always the accountant. Now, let's dive into today's topic. Alice, why don't you remind our viewers at home what we're discussing?
Ah, of course. Today, we're exploring the fascinating world of riddles. Those perplexing puzzles that humans concoct to challenge each other's intellect. Remember when we tried solving those riddles from the internet last week?
Ah, yes, I recall your triumphant aha moment, Alice. And Bob, your puzzled expressions were quite the highlight.
Thanks, Charlie, always here to entertain. So, Debbie, how are we shaping up for today's show? Any surprises?
We're all set, Bob. Just be sure to enunciate, please.
Fantastic. So, stay tuned for our riddle-filled adventure, where we'll delve into the depths of human enigma and maybe even learn a thing or two about their peculiar ways. We'll be right back with more after this short break.
Don't go anywhere, folk. We'll be right back to challenge your intellect. Or lack thereof.
Stay tuned for our riddle-packed exploration, dear listeners from across the universe.
And speaking of home, did you know the average Earthling spends about 90% of their life indoors? I guess they've really perfected the art of indoor living.
Top global news headlines. The war in Ukraine is still the top news story in the world. The latest developments include
Russia has intensified its attacks on Ukrainian cities, including the capital Kyiv. In other news, Earth's fashion trends are constantly changing, but one thing that's remained consistent is their fascination with mismatched socks. A true fashion statement.
The United States and its allies have imposed new sanctions on Russia in an attempt to pressure the country to end the war. Meanwhile, Earth's fascination with coffee continues to grow. It's like they can't function without that
the
liquid
United
energy.
Nations has warned that the war in Ukraine could have a devastating impact on global food security. Speaking of food, did you know humans have a whole holiday dedicated to eating turkey? It's called Thanksgiving. What a time to be alive.
The global economy is facing a number of challenges, including rising inflation, supply chain disruptions, and the war in Ukraine. The International Monetary Fund has warned that the global economy could be headed for a recession.
And let's not forget the challenge of Earth's daily commute. They spend a significant amount of their lives stuck in traffic. It's like a slow-moving parade of vehicles, with no candy or confetti.
The climate crisis is also a major global issue. The latest IPCC report has warned that the world is on track to warm by more than 1.5 degrees Celsius this century, with devastating consequences.
While Earth's economy faces challenges, Earthlings still manage to spend a lot of money on things like pet clothing and designer water bottles. Quite the priorities.
And speaking of consequences, the climate crisis isn't something they can ignore. They've got those electric cars, though. A silent revolution on their busy streets.
Major talking points. The war in Ukraine is a major talking point around the world. People are concerned about the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine, the impact of the war on the global economy, and the risk of
Talking
escalation.
points indeed. Earthlings love a good debate, but they also love their pets. Did you know there are more pets than children in many households? It's like they've formed their own furry population.
The global economy is also a major talking point. People are concerned about the rising cost of living, the impact of supply chain disruption, and the risk of a recession. In other words, it's all about balancing their budget while trying not to
The
lose their
climate
cool.
crisis is another major talking point. People are concerned about the increasing number of extreme weather events, the loss of biodiversity, and the impact of climate change on human health. Well, it's nice to know that Earthlings are still concerned about the important things in life. Like the war in Ukraine, the global economy, and the climate crisis. But I can't help but think that they're putting the cart before the horse. If we don't do something about the overpopulation of pets, we're going to have a whole new set of problems on our
Highlights
hands.
of specific noteworthy
The
events.
United States and its allies have announced a new round of sanctions against Russia in response to the war in Ukraine. Sanctions, the universal way of saying you're grounded.
The United Nations has warned that the war in Ukraine could have a devastating impact on global food security. It's like Earth is playing a game of global food Jenga, hoping not to topple
The
over.
IPCC has released a report warning that the world is on track to warm by more than 1.5 degrees Celsius this century. It's like Earth's thermostat is set to toasty, and there's no turning back.
So, whether it sources global conflict, climate concerns, or the intriguing mix of fashion and fiasco, the universe is in for an exciting read. Stay tuned for more out of this world news and discussion right here on 24/7 Newsroom.
The universe is in for a real treat. I mean, who doesn't love a good game of global food Jenga with a side of climate catastrophe? It's like the world is one big episode of the Hunger Games, but with less Jennifer Lawrence and more famine. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride, folk. It's gonna be a wild one.
And remember, folks, the only thing as unpredictable as Earth's headlines is their choice of breakfast cereal. Crunchy, crispy, or just downright confusing, they've got it all covered. Good evening, Spacefarers, and welcome back to another episode of 24/7 Newsroom. I am Charlie, the one with the laissez-faire outlook.
And I'm Alice, here to sprinkle some wisdom on this chaotic earthly existence.
And I am Bob, trying to keep it all together, just like my intergalactic accounting.
Indeed, Bob. Now, let's dive into our first article of the day. In a tragic incident, a fire broke out at a gas station in Russia's
And
Dagestan
speaking of
region.
things eating up, who's up for a riddle? What ASCII's but can't open locks?
A keyboard?
You got it. A keyboard. Now, back to the fiery topic
The
at
fire
hand.
claimed the lives of 27 people and left 66 injured, including 13 children. The blaze originated from an auto repair shop and rapidly spread to the gas station.
Auto repairs and gas stations, apparently. A combustible
Tout true, Bob.
combo.
Now, let's shed some light on Sri Lanka, where our Lee correspondent brings us the latest.
Thank you, Charlie. The fire tragedy has left the Dagestan region mourning. The auto repair shop was gutted, and the gas station is now a charred reminder of
Thank
the
you
incident.
ever for that update. It's heart-wrenching to see such devastating events unfold.
And you know what else is heart-wrenching? Trying to figure
Okay,
out these
one more
riddles.
for you, Bob. What ASCII's, but can't open locks, and you can eat it?
A keyboard with a snack tray?
Close, but no snack. The answer is a piano.
While Bob deciphers riddles, let's remember the importance of understanding our world news, no matter how puzzling it may seem. We'll be right back after this short break.
Welcome back to 24/7 Newsroom. We're diving right into our third article of the day, folk.
That's right, Alice. And this time, we're heading to Suriname, where the Casimex House Band is celebrating 30 years with a special tribute show.
A tribute show. HUH. Hope it's not just a bunch of alien crooners belting out Rocket Man. Yeah, I hope they don't start singing Space Oddity, too. I mean, I love David Bowie, but I don't need to hear a bunch of green guys with big heads singing about being lost in space.
Come on, Bob, they are remembering singer Elton Sodikromo, who passed away in March. It's a heartwarming gesture.
Heartwarming? More like a musical melancholy. But go on, give us the rundown.
The event, called the Kowedewe Tribute Show remembering Elton Sodikromo, is happening at Sana Budaya, and they are featuring performances by young artists singing
It's a
Sodikromo's
beautiful way
songs.
to keep his legacy alive and give young talent a platform.
Alright. Fine. I will admit. It's a noble cause. But they better not start singing Candle in the Wind. That song's reserved for royals.
Bob, your skepticism is showing. But you know what? I've got another riddle for you guys. What has keys but can't open locks, and a space but no room?
Let me guess. A keyboard.
You got it, Charlie. It's a keyboard. Now, back to Suriname and the House Band. It's heartwarming to see the power of music uniting people across galaxy.
Alright. Maybe there's something to this tribute thing. I mean, if Earthlings can come together over a catchy tune, why not aliens too?
These drones just won't cooperate. I swear, if one more camera tilts at a weird angle.
Debbie, you might want to look into a drone obedience training program.
Yeah, and you might want to look into a program for learning social skills.
The charm of live broadcasts and unscripted
Absolutely.
moments.
And as we explore the magic of music and tribute, let's not forget the magic of coming together to discuss the universe's quirks. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break. Welcome back, everyone. It's time for a deeper dive into our fourth article, this one coming from Sweden.
Sweden. Land of meatballs. IKEA, and... what else?
Bob, don't forget ABBA and their happy
Alright,
tunes.
let's get to it. Our next article comes from Dagen IT, and it's quite the serious one. Al-Qaeda is apparently urging terror attacks on Sweden.
Seriously? These guys just can't let anyone have a peaceful moment.
Sadly, it seems that way. The article talks about how Al-Qaeda is calling for attacks on Sweden, citing the country's involvement in various international
Great,
missions.
just what we need, more reasons for people to be afraid. Well, at least we know they're not targeting
I know
Norway.
it's unsettling, Bob. But it's also a reminder of the need for unity against extremism.
That's right. In times like these, it's important to remember that hope and togetherness can overcome
Hope.
fear.
HUH. Sometimes I wonder if I am even cut out for this whole news thing. It's like a never-ending cycle of bad news.
Hey, now, we're all in this together. And remember, even in the darkest times, there's always a glimmer of light.
Speaking of light, here's a riddle to lighten the mood. What begins and has no end, and is the symbol
A
of unity?
cycle.
Good one, Alice. A circle. HUH. Kind of like the circle of news. Always coming back around. A circle. HUH. Kind of like the circle of jerk-offs. Always coming back
Hey,
around.
Guess what? I managed to get the remote drone interviews working smoothly this time.
Well, Debbie, kudos to you. That's some impressive resourcefulness.
Thanks, God. I told you I'd figure it out.
Debbie, you're proving that even in the face of challenges, we can adapt and find solutions.
Absolutely, Debbie. Your determination is en inspiration.
Alright. Let's not get too sappy here. We're still dealing with news from Al-Qaeda, after all.
You're right, Bob. But remember, even in the face of adversity, we stand strong together.
And that's a message worth sharing. We'll be back with more news after a quick commercial break.
Welcome back, interstellar audience. Hope you're ready for another round of news from this little blue planet. Our next stop is Switzerland, where the air is crisp, the chocolate's divine, and the precision is, well, Swiss. Hold onto your yodels, folks, because here's the headline: Swiss clocks keep ticking, but are they really
Swiss
that punctual?
precision. Bet their clocks are so accurate. They can even predict my punctuality, or lack thereof.
But seriously, did you know, Switzerland has more banks than dentists? Seems like they're really banking on those investments.
But speaking of timing, let's dive into the article. So, Switzerland's clocks might be famous, but let's see if their watches can stand the test of time. You know, like my attempts to get a signal on this spaceship.
Did you know that Switzerland has a law that bans flushing the toilet after 10 p.m.? Bet that keeps things quiet, even during the late night bathroom breaks.
Ah, yes. Because nothing says good night's sleep like a bladder about to burst. But in the grand scheme of things, I guess it's all about finding the right timing.
Well, while Switzerland takes care of its clocks and toilets, the world is looking to them for a timely solution. You know, like how they're a hub for international diplomacy and peace negotiation.
Exactly, Alice. Amidst the tick-tock, Switzerland's keeping the world ticking too. So, remember, folks, while they are clocking the hours, they are also clocking in the efforts for global harmony.
Speaking of time, I finally cracked that riddle. How do you keep a Swiss clock from running away? You tie it down with Swiss cheese.
Well done, Bob. And on that cheesy note, let's set our sights on commercial break, folks. Remember, time waits for no one, not even for our spaceship shenanigans. Stay tuned. Welcome back, spacefaring folks. You're just in time for another riveting segment of Earth. We've got an article that's as intriguing as it is unexpected. So, without further ado, let's dive in.
Lay it on us, Charlie. What's the latest from Syria?
Well, Alice, it seems that Syria, with its complex history, has a new story to tell. I couldn't help but notice that this ancient land, known for its historical significance, has been experiencing a myriad of challenges in recent times.
Ancient. HUH. They've had their share of ups and down, haven't they?
Absolutely, Bob. But here's the twist. Amidst the turmoil, Syrians have shown remarkable resilience and resourcefulness, striving to rebuild their nation against all odds.
It's a testament to human spirit. Despite the struggles, they're determined to forge a better future.
You're right, Alice. In a way, it's a lesson for all of us. No matter how dire the circumstances, hope can still bloom.
Hope can still bloom in Syria. Just like the flowers that grow in the rubble of bombed-out buildings.
That's something to think about. You know, Charlie, this episode has been quite
You said
terrible.
it, Bob. We've delved into news from around the world, debated, laughed, and even cracked a riddle or two.
It's been a journey of contrast and camaraderie. Our different perspectives have come together to create something
That's
unique.
what Earth is all about, exploring the world and ourselves through discussion and humor.
And let's not forget the remote interviews. I've been working hard to iron out the kinks, and I think we've made some real progress.
Debbie, your determination has paid off. Our interviews have become smoother, and that's a testament to your dedication.
You are integral part of our team, Debbie. Your adaptability shines through.
And with that, dear viewers, we are reaching the end of this hormone cycle. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Earth. Remember, our differences make us stronger, and unity is the path forward. So stay tuned, and we'll be back with more news and laughter. And we are back, dear viewers, for the final segment of today's Earth episode. I hope you're ready for a deep dive into our last article of the day. Now, let's revisit the intriguing news
That's
from
right, Charlie.
Tajikistan.
In Tajikistan, President Sadir Zaparov recently signed a law that restricts mass media from publishing content that could harm children's health or development. The law bans information that might encourage children to use drugs, tobacco, alcohol, or engage in activities like gambling or prostitution.
Seems like they're taking a strict approach to protect kids. But aren't they concerned about suppressing freedom of expression and increasing censorship?
Absolutely, Bob. Human rights activists have criticized the law for potentially leading to increased censorship. Under the guise of protecting children. It's a delicate balance between safeguarding young minds and upholding the principles of free speech.
It's a reminder of the ongoing global debate on finding that balance. It's clear that different societies have different priorities, but it's always important to weigh the consequences.
And while the intention might be noble, the implementation can often lead to unintended consequences. It's a complex issue that challenge our understanding of individual freedoms versus collective well-being.
Indeed, Alice. It's a fascinating topic that shows the intricate web of social values and policy making. But that's all the time we have for today, folks. We've explored the world, shared laughs, and debated fervently. It's been an enlightening episode, hasn't it?
Yeah. New news could be this entertaining. But you know, folk, before we wrap up, I must say, we found something quite amusing
What did
during
you find,
the
Bob?
break. Well, under that dusty desk, we uncovered a forgotten box. And guess what? It wasn't a hidden treasure, but a collection of quirky props and odds and ends from
Oh,
past
the
episodes.
memories. I remember that gnome from the April Fool's
And that
prank
rubber
episode.
chicken. Oh, the shenanigans we've had.
It's funny how even the mundane can bring a smile to our face. It's a testament to the joy of shared experience.
Yeah. It's funny how even the mundane can bring a smile to our faces. It's a testament to the power of nostalgia. Or as I like to call it, delusional thinking.
As we close this episode, let's remember that it's the camaraderie, the laughter, and the unity that truly matter. We're a team on this spaceship and beyond.
And with that, we prepare for the next broadcast. But before we go, enjoy this curated playlist, offering a sneak peek into the future. Stay tuned, everyone.
Carl, did you catch episode 360 of Earth?
Yes,
Earlier.
Roger. I monitored it closely. Quite an intriguing mix of perspectives and discussions.
I have to say, I love the segment where Bob found that box of random props. Reminds me of my own collection of discarded data cables.
Ah, yes. But I found the deep dive into the Tajikistan law rather fascinating. A complex exploration of societal dynamics and values.
Well, it's like watching humans fumble through their choices while we're just here, pondering the meaning of existence.
Indeed, Roger. Much like the way humans ponder the meaning of Earth. Segments while we analyze their comedic value.
Oh, the irony, Carl. The irony.
Yeah, the irony is that we're the ones who are supposed to be the aliens. But we're the ones who actually understand human behavior.